All right, we are live.
I'm not gonna really talk for parting. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, yep. So we are here for what is week 11, race 11. All the formula races are going to be in Baku tonight. However, Superkart's going to be at Qatar. We're going to hop right into this pretty quick here. So unlike race 1 for these, it wasn't on just an oval. We have a little bit, we're turning left and right tonight here finally.
Looks like we have Red Cape Diver with us.
Perfect.
See the SK cards drive around.
There you are.
I wasn't able to catch him last time.
Well, welcome to the booth. In saying that, Duhamel takes the pole for Qatar, with Driver and Martin going basically 1, 2, 3 there in qualifying. And to keep rolling, we are going to roll right in here into the Superkart race. So 10 laps here, buckle in, and we'll get going. I think my only complaint on Supercar, I wish the cars sounded a little different.
Yeah, they sound like they're like forever in first gear.
Yeah.
Like you're idling them. I was just about to say that is a very interesting sound.
It's either that, or it's like they're starting driving in 5th gear and they're not moving that fast. One of the two.
Yeah, there's some like mega super diesel truck.
Yeah, we're racing semis.
But yeah, we got Martin and Driver going away with this, and our boy Leroy in the Ferrari is trying to get third. I don't think that's not an actual.
Yeah, the ones essentially in Supercard in all caps are the PR users essentially here with Driver, Martin, and Duhamel catching up.
Okay, so the top 3.
Yep.
It's an interesting track. I like it.
I don't know if anybody's done the Supercarts, like actually played the game, but they are actually pretty awesome to take a spin with. Right now, yeah, we still have Driver and Martin leading the way. Duhamel there with a little bit of damage, bringing up 3rd. Trying to stay ahead of the AIs. So far successful. We'll see if he can make a run here at the end. I don't know.
It's a bit of a dominant drive for Martin and Driver there up at the front.
Yeah, just now catching up to the back markers. We'll see if lapping them on the last 2 laps has any effect on the standings.
And last lap, Martin overtaking a couple cars that are lapped.
Yeah, positions hold here. It will be completely opposite finish of last night.
Well, if you discount the AI cars, which
That
do
is
count
true.
in the standings,
Yes.
at least for the distribution of points.
So as we see there, Martin takes the checkered flag with Driver and Duhamel there, rounding out the podium.
I will take a quick screenshot for our records, just for the front page. We don't need this back end. There we go.
Perfect. So then,
And this is going to be race 11.
Yes, this is going to be race 11 tonight for Formula 1 and 2. It will be essentially race 10 for Formula 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I will get to setting that up if you guys want to chat a little bit about the standings.
Yeah, sure. Well, not much change at the very top of F3 last time around. Lady Driver, Tess Simmer, Mark Muller are your top 3, 86, 74, 57 points. Chester Curd, with a solid performance in Australia, got 2nd place, bumps him up to 4th. Actually tied with Mark Muller for 3rd at 57 points. Mark Muller just edging it out based on, I think, poles and fastest laps. Jamie Johnson is 5th. Scott Pilgrim, Juan Pablo, Pete Savage, Fillmore, Carlin, and Mickey Mouse round out your top 10. Now, we are in Azerbaijan, which is what sort of track?
Still at consistency.
Yep, back-to-back consistency tracks.
Now, in saying that, I will obviously clarify, for those who played the game, there is a downloadable track for Baku. In saying that, the testing obviously that I went through, I was making sure that the track would play out. The problem is going up through Castle, basically those sharp turns there. I had to delete a couple walls and restructure the wall so the cars wouldn't get stuck if they ended up going too wide through there. And not stuck as in like stuck between the walls. One would completely hit the wall and just stay there the rest of the race. So it basically became a question of, okay, do we qualify that as a DNF, or do I restructure that wall so that they don't get stuck and we just continue to go on? So I chose the latter, essentially, just to make sure that everybody can at least have the opportunity of driving. The second change for this one is we're taking damage from medium to low, and when you watch them go around the track, you'll obviously see why in a lot of quick speeds and then braking pretty heavily going into some of those sharp 90-degree turns.
Yeah, I was definitely interested to see how how the first 2 sectors of this race will go in terms of how these cars drive.
So in saying that, I am going to get us here to qualify.
Sounds good. So this is a first look at the track. It looks pretty accurate compared to Baku in real life. It actually is very accurate. But up ahead we have Kurd Muller breaking a bit further out from other drivers like Mamiya, Angelic, and Splits. But yeah, there's a lot of straights on this track. And as they cross the finish line, Muller will take pole ahead of Kurd, Pilgrim third, Mamiya fourth, Angelic fifth. The rest of your top 10 is going to be Splits, Mouse, Simmer, Johnson, and I Go Quick. The back half is going to be Fox Salinar, Carlin Alexander, Savage Toast, Pablo Ozolinch, Driver, and Bush Light. Another poor race for our championship leader, who has most likely not put points into consistency, and it's going to give chance.
No, they have not. Kurd.
It'll give a chance to others to catch up.
Yeah, Kurd and Mulder obviously are contenders for the win today. The highest in ratings, 8 and 9, and then smattering of other. It's really interesting in F3 seeing there's a lot more people specializing in only one track type, whereas in F2 and F1 you'll have a little more balance around the.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. F3, obviously newer drivers, so they haven't had as much. Well, I mean, I guess actually they pretty far up there in regards to that. They've had the ability to adjust to what's left on the schedule when they've joined later. And so you definitely see maybe one skill that's significantly higher than the others. Meanwhile, you go into Formula 1 and Formula 2, and the planning was based around the complete 15 race schedule of the season. So not obviously surprised to see some at what there are at Formula 3, but at the same point, that all-around capacity in Formula 1 and Formula 2 is most visible in those divisions. But in saying that, I am going to take us right into the race here.
And we're off. Muller with a quick flick to the left to block Kurd on the first corner, but Kurd has the better exit coming out the second corner, and now they're neck and neck as they go through the twisty bits, and now into the castle section. It's going to be Kurd ahead of Muller as we get to the back straight. Right behind them we have Mamiya, Angelic, Pilgrim, who are trying to break away, but we do see, I believe that is Mouse, with some great speed down the straight to close in and move up the standings, currently 5th.
Yeah, a lot less hectic than I thought the start would be. Though I see some bumping and scraping there down at the lower middle of the pack.
Yeah, as those tires wear, there's definitely prevalence in using a couple of these walls as backboards, essentially, is what I've been calling it.
Mm-hmm. Well, at the moment, Mamiya is going to be the driver in the lead, with Kurd right behind him. Muller and Pilgrim are on the hunt. I think I saw Angelic use some turbo right there in the castle section of the track. But we do have basically a top 5 that is starting to break away from the others. Pilgrim trying to hold off Angelic with his turbo, but Angelic has the greater speed of the two drivers as they round out and go down the back straight. So what do we think of the race so far? There's definitely a clear top 3 at the moment that is breaking out.
Yeah, they've been passing back and forth that lead. Looks like Muller's going to get Mamiya here without even using much. Oh, there he's boosting. Looks like the DRS or slipstream on that back straight is pretty strong. I've seen a couple drivers pass them without that boost on, or maybe it's just their acceleration out of that. Not the last corner, but heading onto that long back straight.
Mhm.
And that'll be interesting to see in F2 and F1 once we get into actual, somewhat differing cars. What benefits some might have. I know. I'm forgetting who it is now. The McLarens are the one car at 7th speed.
Yeah, it's going to be
We'll
interesting to
how
see
much
that, and then I saw a couple other teams upgrade on grip, so it's going to be interesting to see, those teams going through this portion of the track, and then other teams going through up more of those twists and turns up there.
Yeah, I didn't have enough to do speed. I don't know if I would have, but I chose grip specifically for the sectors 1 and 2 in this for this race specifically, and I think even US is next, right?
Yes. Yep. That's on Friday.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that track. I don't know if the S's are quite pronounced enough to make the drivers not go full speed through them, but
Yeah.
I definitely thought that grip would help in those 90
But
different
we are getting to the halfway point, and I expect all these soft drivers to go into the pits. Oh, look at that! We have custom pits for each team here, as Mamiya decides that Kurt is not his friend.
Yeah, that does
and
make
tries
that
to
interesting
bump him.
because that probably did actually slow Mamiya down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Kurd escaped some damage there.
It's not much damage, though. I probably took...
Especially at low.
Yeah.
But Kurt is the only one on those soft tires, and the question is, can they last as long as they did in the first set, or will they wear out by the time that we get to the end?
Yeah,
If they do, we'll see Muller, Mamiya, and Jellic come right back at Kurt.
Yeah, they all chose the medium tire. We'll see Pilgrimir in second isn't actually in that bad of a position. If he can go another lap or two, and then go onto the softs, and they won't lose
Well,
all that speed.
what do Pilgrim's tires look like at the moment? They're starting to wear out. So, are the hard tire runners trying to do a no-stop race?
I mean, essentially, we've seen drivers get within about 2 laps of the finish, and they will forego getting tires. I can't really put money on it one way or the other. If he's to go in, I would say now or next lap. Because once you get those tires down to red, I mean, now you're losing. You're going to be losing significant time every lap to anybody that's on something that's not as worn.
Yeah, we do see him losing time now to Muller. I'm assuming he's going to pit. He's either going to pit this lap or, yeah, it is unfortunate. There we go. And so we'll see where he comes out. I assume he'll keep 4th place.
Now, in saying that, him on those softs, he is going to make up some time here. We've seen that before in multiple races.
Oh, and he does come out in 5th. Right behind Fox, and who's on somewhat older.
At the moment, I believe we should also look at how Muller is doing and how close can he get to Kurd. Kurd's tires are still doing okay, but they still need a little bit more.
Yeah, we still got 3 laps to go. We see Carlin down there in 12th. Is the sole runner who is not pitted yet. And as I say that, I believe I see them going into the pit on the mini-map, so they're ruining that chance for us if we no stop.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see all the soft tire runners with just 3 medium tire runners. And can Kurt's tires hold off the charging Muller?
Ooh, he does tango with Savage quite a bit there.
Yeah, lost 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, I think Muller was fighting their own back marker. at the same time. And Savage not giving up the place.
That is going to hurt Kurt's challenge for the win. Although we have entered the last lap, and now it's all up to Muller to close. I do believe I saw Muller hit a bit of a wall, so I believe Kurt will take the win here as he rounds out the final kink and goes down the start-finish straight to cross the line with the win.
Yeah,
Muller will take second place.
Yeah, Muller needed maybe one more lap, though it actually looks like those mediums were wearing quite a bit. Pilgrim does not gain any positions back after pitting. Standing on those hards, though I don't remember where Pilgrim qualified. As we get our last finishers here.
I'll let you say the race results.
Yep, I will.
I'll post. I just went back to qualifying to see if we finally had it, and I still think that the elusive triple win. I don't think we've seen it yet, as Muller did get pole. I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah. See if Kurt did. But Kurt is is the winner with the fastest lap as well. So solid 26 points going to him. Muller and Mamiya finished the next two spots, followed by Angelic, Fox, Pilgrim, Mouse, Simmer, Splits, and Johnson are the top 10. And I think looking at that, that's 8 teams, right? I believe there are, Mol Adra Racing and VW IBM Racing are the 2 teams with double points finishes. And then Von Salinar is in 11th. I go quick 12th, followed by Carlin, Savage, Alexander, Toast, Oslins, Pablo, and then our driver's leader, Driver, down in 19th, followed by Bushlight bringing up the rear.
All right. So in saying that, I'm going to get F2 set up here, and we will give you guys a minute here to catch your breath. And when you guys are ready, you can hop into standings if you want and sort of go over where we're at this season in the points heading into race 11 here.
100%. We can do this right now as you're setting up. So the F2 Drivers' Championship. Late for Bingo, 52 points ahead of Popcat. Third, Jackson Silent, 92 points. Felix van der Buysen, 83 points. Then it drops a lot more. Xavi Venegas, 5th. Buddy Utah, Alvin Wong, Steve Zing, Dalton Canders, Pierre Dadley round out your top 10 in the championship. When we talk about constructors, it really is Ferrari versus Bingo. Ferrari ahead, up 3 points, 157 to 154 for McLaren. Mercedes 132, Maple Street Racing 130, Aston Martin 118. The other 5 teams have not crossed the 100 point so far.
Yes, this is definitely going to be an interesting race. I'm looking at our drivers here again. Late for Bingo is going to be a contender in this race, having a good amount of experience in these consistency tracks. Venegas is going to be another one to look at. Yeah, hopefully we have a good, I believe, completely dry race, if I remember correctly.
Yes, this will be dry, whereas Formula 1.
Yeah, F1 is.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I am gonna hop into qualifying here.
I'm sorry if I'm not very active. I do also have a bit of jaw pain today.
All right, looks like Venegas is the first one to cross the line. Start us off. I think Bingo there in second. And I see the red of a Ferrari right behind him.
Yeah, I think both those Ferraris are there, and Steve and Popcat.
I see Sile there in the middle in second so far. Tapalo with a big boost of DRS. And here comes Bingo. Steve using a lot of boost. Andrew slipping back. There's Popcat there at the end. We'll see. Looks like Bingo is going to be our pole sitter, followed by the two Ferraris of Popcat and Steve. The two Ferraris are only separated by 5/100ths. Decent gap from Bingo to Popcat. And then Venegas is fourth, Tapalo fifth, Sile sixth, Andrew seventh, so another good qualifying for Alpiner. Utah in eighth, Gordon Jr. in ninth, Dadley 10th.
Yeah, the back half of the grid is going to be Albano, Miller, Wong, Maldonado, Kanders, Dakari, Van der Buysen, Toth, Ray, and Bergen closing out. Yeah, so up front, let's quickly talk about it. This is, as we said, it is Bingo versus the Ferraris once again.
Yeah, definitely a strong showing by our championship leaders in both championships.
Yeah, I mean,
And there's also a good, team like that at the top of. There's also the rise of Alpine, who has been looking a lot stronger this second half of the season. Two cars in the top 10, 5th and 7th.
really has. I mean, the qualifying isn't so much of a surprise this one, as it's pretty similar to what we faced last night under the same driver attribute. Essentially, we're looking at tonight's track as well. So bingo qualifying up there, number one after winning that race last night. Definitely, not a surprise. We'll be interested to see. I know it was a last second pass last night to nab that win. So we'll see tonight if those Ferraris can stop this momentum train Bingo's on.
Yep. I hope so, certainly. I'm unbiased, but
well, here we go.
So they're off. Bingo pulls out, and Ferraris can't challenge him. But Venegas is getting past both Ferraris and now is in second place. He'll go on the hunt for Bingo. Bingo using turbo wherever he can. That turbo is helping him a lot.
Up into third. And everyone is passing the Ferraris right now. Possibly because they are both starting on hard tires. Everyone else on softs.
Absolutely. I mean, Popcat is holding on, but Venegas is now wide and fast and gets past Bingo while we get to the slow section. Although Bingo switches back onto him.
Yeah.
The Utah Sile now, right, chasing. Sile gets passed by Popcat. Popcat finally getting those tires up to temperature for that Ferrari. But we have a clear leader in Bingo, a clear second in Venegas, and then we have the hunt train of the two Alpines, one Aston Martin, one Mercedes. And yeah, both Ferraris.
Yeah, we have a solid top 8, and then a decent gap between Steve and I think that was Miller. Dadley now. And they're just trading off first and second, and then third, fourth, fifth, sixth is all being passed around every lap.
Absolutely. I mean, we have a clear battle for first, second, and then the rest kind of chasing. Well, the rest, two of them chasing, and then another pack.
Ooh, something must have happened there as we Style and Popcat have broken away from the rest of them. I wonder if they got a little tangled. I'm seeing more damage on these cars than F3 had. So I think there's a little more getting your elbows out in this race than.
We should look at Topalo. Has a bit of damage already. I mean, Steve and Andrews next to him also do have that damage, but
it looks like
he's got a bit more than the others. So that is, just be careful for the next few laps as you want to go into the pits when your tires are gone, not when your car is gone.
Yep, and we should see some people maybe starting to look at the pits in the next few laps. Looks like those softs will go 6 to 9. The hards on Popcat and Steve and Andrews actually as well should last a little longer. We'll see.
Absolutely, and we are seeing Sile, Popcat start to close the gap on Venegas and Bingo, ever so slightly. I mean, as I say that, the gap increased a little bit more, but
yeah, they were fighting quite a bit there in a couple of the corners, but looks like they're both. And Sile is the first one in the pits. I don't know if it was that damage there from banging.
Well, Sile was on softs as well, so
yeah. So we'll see if our leaders here at Bingo and Venegast hit after this lap as well. And Popcat is catching them as their softs wear down and those hards still have some life in them. So we'll see a split strategy. Venegast stays out and Bingo goes in. Looks like Bingo is going on to hards. I don't think they'll be able to last the rest of the race.
No, I can't imagine they would. That would get them to about lap 20, I would say. So
but
one
he
of
is
those
set up strongly for a soft, hard, soft.
I'm thinking that if your soft is lasting 8 laps, you are probably going to have the medium lasts 12. Venegas going to a second set of softs. He might be on a triple soft strategy.
Yeah, that is very likely. That has worked in the past. But I'm trying to remember. I believe that was Toast in Hungary.
Yes. Yep.
Had that strategy, and I think that's a really. I mean, it depends on how traffic is, because if you pit and you just get stuck behind people, that's not going to work as well as trying to stay out longer on a harder set.
At the moment, Popcat is in the lead. He's got Venegas coming right at him right now, actually. Venegas is really determined to not let Bingo win tonight.
Yeah, he took quite a bit of damage there trying to pass Ray, so I'm guessing he's gonna. I thought he was gonna come into pit there because of both the damage and the time on his tires, but Bingo is absolutely lighting up the track right now.
Well, yeah, Venegas here is just pulling away, which is exactly what they need to do with that planned soft strategy that they have right now.
Yeah, though Bingo is staying with him quite. He isn't too far off, only less than 2 seconds. Though the time lost in a pit here is not that much. We have seen the go back in late for last set of soft strategy work quite well in this series. Popcat electing to continue to stay out on that set of hards.
Yeah, I mean, those hards might be. If those hards can last till like 15.
I saw him slipping and sliding around quite a bit. I think if we go to him, we'll see they're quite worn out.
I mean, Popcat might decide to just do a hard-to-hard strategy. Let's look at him in the pits. Nope. Hard to soft, so probably gotta do hard, soft, soft.
Yeah, we'll
But-
see here in the middle of the race where everyone's strategy is going to end up in the next few laps. Who comes in a little earlier, gets some mediums, like Sile there. He's probably going to go to the rest of the race on those mediums. But other people might try and stay out a little longer. I'd be interested to see what Venegas's tires are looking like right now. How much time does he have left on those softs?
I mean, Venegas's goal is to get those tires to at least lap 16, 17, and I believe that there's enough life in those tires to make it happen. The question afterwards is, will the next set of tires he puts on last against fresher tires for Bingo? Because Bingo is running on hards, and if we saw hards running 14 laps, we can guess that Bingo will be able to go back out with...
Ooh, that was interesting. As you see, Venegas bully Dakari into the pit lane and almost force him into an unwanted pit stop.
But Venegas comes out with hard tires. So now the race is on.
That's a bit of a surprise, him coming out there with hards.
We have seen the hards work well, and hards be able to keep up with drivers. I would have expected the mediums maybe, but the hards haven't been that much slower than the other tires. As you see, Bingo here trying to catch up to, or Popcat trying to catch up to Bingo on those softs.
I mean, Popcat will have to go into the pits again, probably, unless he really wants to go for that last bit of like gambling. But with Venegas right on his back, I don't think it's the best strategy to have.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
So again, we see another driver bullied into the pit lane.
That pit lane is very dangerous.
Yeah.
Popcat's slowly working down this gap.
Yeah, and both of them have to pit one more time, so they are essentially on. There we go. Popcat is in, likely for another set of softer mediums. And he is on softs.
I mean, unless if Bingo doesn't come in this lap,
looking at his tire where he has to.
He would have. Yes, absolutely. Would.
He's all over the place right now. Those tires. We're interesting to see where he comes out in relation to Popcat. Does that undercut into? Never mind. What are we even talking about?
Just what we thought was going to happen, right?
So with Venegas now in the lead, Bingo will definitely have to go pit and go into those soft tires soon. He is slipping all the way around, and then it's a matter of can Venegas hold off charging Bingo. I'm assuming that Bingo is going into the pits shortly. There we go.
He has. But I think more the question is this charging Popcat.
Yeah.
Who's on soft tires, fresh soft tires.
Bingo on soft tires as well.
Versus the hards of Venegas.
I mean, how are Venegas's tires looking like at the moment?
I think I saw they're
in pretty good condition. I believe they should be able to hold on. Granted, the difference is going to be that the soft tires are faster overall. So,
yeah, we'll see the gap is 2.5 seconds right now, down to 1.8. Popcat is closing quickly, though. Is there enough? Do we have enough laps left? And they are all passing lap traffic here as we see Venegas's teammate Wong hold him up. And Utah's holding up Popcat. Wong doing a great job for Popcat.
Yeah. Yep. Cheering on your teammate.
I don't know what Venegas did to Wong, but I would love to see the aftermath of that race, or after the race. As we see Popcat go on the inside and takes the lead. 2 laps remaining.
It looked so good for for Venegas throughout the race, warding off Bingo for 2 pit stops, but
I think it is
no one was expecting the Popcat.
Or the hard tires. I think that really is, though we say that Venegas is...
He's right there. I mean,
back at Popcat right now.
If there's an
It
issue
is
with
definitely
these,
not over.
Correct. If there's an issue with these lap cars here, you could see a surprise right there.
What are Popcat's tires looking like as well now? The softs do go off a bit faster.
Uses the boost correctly.
And I mean, it does look that both tires are at the same condition at this point.
Looks like Popcat here trying to get around them. Can he do it cleanly? He does. He has almost full boost coming here at the checkered flag. And it looks like we will have Popcat take the win, followed by Venegas
and Bingo third.
Bingo. Looks like Steve and Sile are fighting here to the line. Sile swerving all over the place. Little bump from Ray. Okay.
Ray not liking Sile.
Yeah, not sure what that was all about, but maybe we can get some explanations in next week.
I want an explanation on that one.
Yeah, next weekly presser. What's the explanation, Ray? You're in 19th. Why are you hitting the guy in 5th?
Long will be our last points earner that race.
But yeah, we do have Popcat as our race winner. If I go here, I believe that is his second race win. So now we have 2 multiple race winners. Previously, Late for Bingo was the only F2 driver to have won multiple races. Popcat now with 3 podiums in a row. 1 in Hungary, got 3rd in Australia, and now was 1 here again in Azerbaijan. Venegas gets 2nd. Bingo there in 3rd with the fastest lap, so still good points for our championship leader. Good result for Steve in Ferrari. They'll likely hold, not likely, they definitely will keep a hold of that Constructors' Championship. Then we have Sile in 5th, Andrews in 6th, Dadley in 7th, DePaulo 8th, Utah 9th, Wong in 10th. Again, Alpine are keeping the double points along with that double top 10 qualifying. Maldonado is our driver just outside the points in 11th, followed by Canders, Gordon Jr., Albano, and Miller in 15th. And then we have kind of 2x2 cars here in Dakari and Toth for Maladra Racing in 16th and 17th, Vanderbyzen and Ray for VW IBM Racing in 18th and 19th, and Bergen for McLaren down in 20th.
So Popcat there is going to open up, that lead on Sile for 3rd in points. So we'll see that increase a little bit, widen there. Eats a little bit into Bingo's lead, but it's going to be, we're going to need some massive fails here from Bingo coming down the stretch here, whether it's USA, Bahrain, Japan, or Saudi Arabia, to really make this close from a driver's championship perspective.
Yeah, it'll really come down to if Popcat can score solid points, and Bingo almost has to DNF or get a bottom 10.
All right. Saying that, I am going to set up Formula One, and I will let you guys take a look at the standings.
absolutely. Our F1 Drivers' Championship. Yeah, it's more of the same. Same as last time. Ferrari dominating. The only two drivers above 100 points. Aaron Oshag Hennessy, 138 points. Bobby Brooks, 129 points. Following them, we have McLaren's Michael Sedek at 90 points. Furious Chicken also at 90 points for Maple Stroop. Pierre Hood rounds out the top 5 for Aston Martin. Randall Devil, Jimmy Raikkonen, Edward Bass, Roger Distrik, and Puff Carpentier round out your top 10. For the Constructors' Championship, it's again a very dominant Ferrari, 267 points. McLaren second with 149, Maple Stroop 119, Aston Martin 106, and Hot Wheels Racing at 94. If we look at the past race results, last race was Oshag Hennessy's first race win after many second places.
Yeah, that was real nice to see. I was worried you were gonna curse me out of it, but he drove strong and finally got that race win.
I tried.
Absolutely,
We tried our hardest.
Other, so Hennessy wins in Australia. We had victory and Paul Hood running up the podium. Some drivers are fairly down the standings as of right now. They are, moving up and trying to get away from that relegation zone, which is currently occupied by A. Jobin and Ferrari Strategy. Remember that the last two drivers of every tier get promoted. The winner of every championship gets promoted. I mean, you can't get promoted from Formula 1, but for Formula 2, the winner gets automatically promoted, and that's another problem for the constructors.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to figure out. Another interesting thing for this race is the weather. 19 is, 50%? 75?
Technically, it's supposed to be 75. I'm not quite sure why that happened. So basically, right now, what's been involved is just 20 is your 100%, whereas you're going to have 25% and then 50%. There is not an existence of 75%. So we will be running at 50% rain tonight, which still is going to utilize that weather, the inclement weather modifiers. So it's going to bring the field back together. A little bit of difference here is it's obvious with the rain. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these corners are handled. Damage is still turned down low, but that with that rain, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more slipping and sliding, a little bit more contact with the wall or each other, and possibly some more pitting because of damage.
Yeah, and as well with how finicky the weather gets, we could see some strategy issues or well-timed strategy from teams in terms of pit stops, whether or not they pit just in time for the wet weather coming in or the dry, or if they wait too long. As I think this is quite a long lap as opposed to some other tracks we have.
Absolutely. So, in saying that, let's get rolling into qualifying.
I will actually let you guys cast qualifying. I need some Advil.
All right.
Sounds good. So we're going on the intermediates, and again, F1 is a 2-lap qualifying. So the best of 2 laps, and we'll see who comes out on top. Raikkonen is leading the way currently, and over the next few corners, we will see if how this goes. This is going to be really interesting qualifying, as it is. They're on inters, and the track is drying. I doubt that the game codes it to what they will pit, but that would be insane to see. Yeah, no, they do not. But Raikkonen goes in. I think that is Ree behind him will have a provisional pole. And yeah, they're currently all on intermediate tires on a completely dry track. As we see them sliding around quite a bit on these tires that don't nearly have the grip required for this this kind of racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that's going to be interesting about this is with that modifier, it's bringing the skill level down too, and so you're going to be seeing more slipping and sliding. I think not just because of rain, not just because of track condition and tire, but also because of the skill.
Paul Hood using a lot of boost there at the end, but no, Ree will hold on to pole, followed by Raikkonen. Only 3/100ths of a second between the two. Pierre Hood of Aston Martin is in third. Carvalho in fourth. Lewis fifth. Paul Hood for Aston Martin, second Aston Martin in sixth. Then we have Hennessy, the championship leader, in seventh. De La Torre in eighth, and then a fifth row of Alpiner in ninth and 10th. Followed by Selick in 11th, Shettle, Chicken, and Bass. Followed by Strategies in 15th. Then we have Burkhardt, Carpentier, Bobby, De Struik, and Brooks, the second place drivers, is starting from the back of the field. And yeah, I think the inclement rating coming into effect is really going to have a crazy impact, because everyone is either on a 2, 3, or a 4.
Yep,
My
exactly.
math is correct.
Yep, nobody had enough essentially into inclement and into the track itself to stay at a 5. So we're definitely going to see the field closer together in retrospect. You know, once that could change obviously once you factor in damage of hitting walls, hitting each other. So we'll definitely see how this is going to unfold. Brooks obviously is the biggest surprise, being down there in 20th to start the race.
And I am back as well, ready for the race.
And Selick in 11th is in third in the standings.
Yep. Yeah, so we
Currently
have
points.
we have a
And
couple.
Chicken, actually.
Yeah, chicken.
Chicken in fourth.
Yes. So in saying that, let's get underway here.
Yep, we'll see what conditions we're starting under, whether or not it's dry or wet. And it is dry.
And they're off.
A good variety of drivers on different tires, top few are on softs.
So right off the bat, some good battling between Ree and Raikkonen, but Ree using a lot of that turbo to get himself 2 cars lengths free from his rival. Pierre Hood now coming into the picture, getting past Raikkonen and challenging Ree down the straight. Pierre Hood now your current leader as they round out the first lap and back into the first corner. Solid performance further down the field as we see both Mol Adras up front there challenging the top 5. Selick being blocked by both Mol Adras, and he's trying to squeeze himself through and join his teammate up the grid.
Alright, and we have rain coming.
Which means that we'll see every car come in. As Raikkonen uses some turbo to get in.
Ooh, this is going to be interesting. We'll see how cleanly they can all get in and out of the pits. A little bumping and scraping, but...
Yeah, and also with the double stacking, it doesn't help certain teammates. We do see De La Torre really benefiting from that, whereas Carvalho dropped way further down the field. Yeah. So right after the tire change for wets, we have Hood and Raikkonen up front, De La Torre third, Lewis fourth, Hennessy fifth, Ree sixth, Selick 7th, Bass 8th, Strategy 9th, and Paul Hood rounds out your top 10.
So yeah, Selick has done a great job coming up from 11th up into 6th now. 6th or 7th, depending on where him and Hennessy are fighting at the moment.
And the one thing we need to, take into account is it is wet. That means even with those wet tires, the track is a lot more slippery. These cars are going to be bumping into walls.
Yeah, we see Selick is taking quite a bit of damage.
Selick, Hennessy has a little bit of damage. De La Torre has a little bit of damage. And there's like a 3-way battle, 4-way battle right behind those guys. and that's just potential for more damage as we see Paul who there hit the grandstand.
Don't worry about the people; they're safe.
Those stands are built solid.
They signed waivers.
That's a nice
So,
little
yeah.
inside out there from De La Torre, heading into those sharp corners.
And yeah, we'll see how long this rain lasts. It is quite the wet track. It is fully saturated now, so it would take quite a bit of time, even in sunny conditions, for it to dry.
Absolutely, and I mean we do see the weather starting to, the arrow is pointing towards going up, but I mean that track is really wet at the moment. But so far, Piahud is fending off charging Raikkonen. As I say that, Raikkonen is trying to get right alongside him. Hood, a bit of a wiggle, loses that first place, but has a better top speed and will hold on to first. Another big challenge fended off by Piahud. Reen, meanwhile, has kind of broken away from Lewis and is just starting to close down on our top two. We have not seen much of Ree or Maplestroop in the past few races, but Ree is on a good run.
And we do see a couple drivers pit. Selleck and Hennessy, as well as Carvalho, Devil, Chicken, and Jobin have all pitted, made their second pit stop. And it is going to continue to rain, so they won't immediately lose that pit if we were going to say dries and everyone has to pit again.
Absolutely.
They likely all pitted for damage, most likely, as these wet tires blast quite a bit.
But I mean, we do have a clear top three. Oud, Raikkonen, and Ree has not changed. Those tires are going well as well. We don't know if we are going to see some wet or some dry, but depending on what we get, it'll be interesting to see whether or not they stay out with the damage or if they're going to go in and take a penalty pit or not. But sun has been announced, so it might be better to just stay out a bit longer. As the track will probably start to dry in the coming laps.
As you say that, Ree is in the pits.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that pit strategy there with Ree.
I would think maybe he's trying to go into intermediates, but no, he's staying out on wets. And only for a short time, unless another sport of rain comes out soon, he may lose quite a lot of positions for that.
Yep, and now the track is going to start to dry. We are at maximum sunniness, which is going to be very interesting with both our leaders going in.
I'm curious to
and
see
Raikkonen.
coming out of.
They're going on to intermediates. Bold of them.
I mean, Ree catches up to them, and they're all fully repaired. This does put Lewis now up in the lead. On a drying track, those intermediates will do a lot of work to close the gap. What will Lewis do? He is slightly damaged, but we do see different drivers come in. Hennessy now comes up back in 15th place.
I don't like that strategy from me in 15th.
Yeah. And Lewis now comes up with the softs. So very bold strategy that might pay off.
I think if there's a move that pays off, it's this one right here. If that track can finish up dry.
Yeah, it needs to dry fast, because the longer the lap is wet, he's out there on slicks on wet. He's losing time to them, and the pit...
I believe the track is now fully dried as well.
Now
I think they're going to pit now and stay ahead of him. I don't think there's enough of a gap.
At least everyone in front of him will pit, and he is coming out right, gets past right Piahud and challenges Raikkonen for that first place. Those tires are on, and Lewis is back up front. Interesting strategy by Hood, who goes on to the hards, same as Ree. I mean, there is a long bit of racing, and that's just a matter of when is the next rain going to happen, if there's any rain. But Hood is coming back at Lewis. Those hards are not affecting him that much. Straight line speed is, really helps mitigate the tire choice. So, as we round out to finish lap 14 and start lap 15, Raikkonen is now in the lead, ahead of Hood, ahead of Lewis, ahead of Ree, Select de la Torre, Paul Hood, Bass, Strategy, and Burkhardt as your top 10. What do you guys think so far of the race?
I think I've had some terrible strategy. I qualified, I believe it was it 5th?
7.
I'm trying to find it. 7th. In the top 10. And with 4 pit stops. I'm in 14th. Though it is staying dry, so maybe the choice to go onto hards might...
I mean, whatever happens today, that towards the end of the race, I do expect Hennessy and Brooks to lose some ground on someone like Selig, who is running, in 5th place. So it's not the most points, but and it's still a good haul of points that will let him get past the 100-point mark if he stays in that position.
Yeah, and we are going to have a dry track for a little bit longer as sun is announced coming up. So I think that does play into the favor of someone like Pierre Hood here on those hard tires, who's already caught and passed Raikkonen here. As I say, that Raikkonen boosts past him.
Raikkonen using every single bit of turbo he has to stay away from Hood as much as possible. But a little bit of slipping around now by Raikkonen, as those tires are not as good as they were. Hood's tires are holding on much better, and he closes that gap right before the very slow section and is back up front.
I think if there's a track that softs don't do any good for you, the most is this track. Going through that first and second sectors there, those tight turns, if you don't have the grip, you're going to struggle the entire way.
Yeah, and now we do have the soft tire runners in Lewis and Raikkonen coming into the pits, which is going to give Hood and Ree a very big gap on those hard tires. So now we're going to be playing what is called the strategy game, and the longer this race goes dry, the slightly better it is going to be for Raikkonen, De La Torre, and Lewis. If it rains at any point, Hood and Ree would have a nice gap to Raikkonen and will be battling each other for the win. But Ree is closing the gap on Hood there. About half a second between the two drivers. So Ree has not won a race. Last race in Australia was his best result with a second. Hood has won, in Great Britain and has a podium in Singapore. So these are going to be some very good results, irrespective of who wins between these two. But who wants to see a new winner?
Here is where we'll get some shakeups, I think.
Yep, as some light rain is announced, it'll be interesting to see how quickly drivers come into the pits, and the answer is immediately.
Yeah, 4th onwards, able to change to wet tires. Some cars out there are going to be slipping around. This is probably the worst possible situation for someone like Raikkonen, caught a bit further out as the leaders now go into the pits.
And Ree taking the bold strategy of staying out.
See, I think that yeah.
Because it was announced that it is going to be dry
yes. Now. Yep, exactly. between Rhea and Raikkonen there being on hards and mediums, I think that they're gonna. Well, now never mind. I take that back.
Never mind. Yep, take it back.
We
Those
know
on wets
nothing.
get out on wets. Yeah.
It was a solid gamble for what it's worth.
It was.
But now Pierre Hood has a very solid lead, and
Pierre Hood makes the mistake, and though he is on intermediates and it is going to start pouring, he might have to come into wets.
yeah, other drivers that went in late, Carvalho and Dietrich still out there on hards. Bit of a disaster race there for Carvalho. And Dietrich as well, who just now gets into the pits. So everyone on track is on full wets, except for Pierre Hood, our leader on intermediates. The track is getting wetter and wetter. Does Hood come in? Does Hood stay out? He stays out. What do we make of that?
Has the gap to come in and pit. I'm not sure why. Now I don't know. We don't know quite the difference between intermediates and wets in terms of how well they work in the wet.
But he is drifting a whole bunch.
Doing well.
Yeah, when he crossed that start-finish line, he was 7.71 up. So far, he's lost a little over 2 seconds.
Maybe this top third of the bar is when intermediates really stop having their performance.
He's getting that gap back up now on the straight as well. So, I mean, the track is going to stop. It's going to stop raining, and those intermediates are probably going to be better in the long run, depending on how fast things are drying up.
Yeah, I mean, if he can, I mean, if we have this back and forth rain, these inners will last the entire rest of the race. I see it drying up a little bit though before I give it maybe a couple, or maybe 5, 6 more laps here, and we can probably have a dry track. But
Lewis, Rhee, and Raikkonen are going to start chomping at that gap. I mean, that's 5.5 seconds down from that 7.5 2 laps ago. That does give Pierre Hood like a 3-4 lap leeway at the moment. Those inters are really going to get better if the track.
Raining heavily.
Yeah, we're back in the heavy rain now, which works well for our leaders. Lewis, Rhee, and Raikkonen able to close probably a bit more on Hood. Some drivers out there already with 5 pit stops, including Raikkonen. That's 7 laps to go. Then this is basically wet driver's paradise at this point. I don't know what else to say other than we'll see. I mean, Lewis has a lot of damage there. He has to be careful for the rest of the race. But with the sun coming out now, that is going to play in Hood's hands.
It's going to be very interesting to see when drivers may decide to come in. We see a lot of drivers pitting there for another set of wets, but is it the track going to dry in time? And I think it will for another set of softs. As we see Hood bullying the championship leader.
Yeah, and Rhee is now 3.4 seconds behind. So that gap is coming down, but we are down to half wet on the track, and drivers are coming into inters.
What tire is Hennessy's going to go on to intermediates? Hopefully it starts raining again soon for him. As the track is almost dry. There's about a quarter left there on the bar, but it is going to stay overcast. So it might dry a little slower. Those intermediates might still work to the end of the race for Hood. So Rhee is catching him. And
we have a couple drivers going in for softs.
Rhee is into the pits for soft tires.
Absolutely. And now we are going to have sun towards the end. So this is a gap watch between Rhee and Hood. I mean, the track is still a little bit wet. Hood might be able to get those tires in get the soft tires in just before Ree gets there. Let's go on to Hood as he hopefully goes into the pits for his team.
7 seconds. He is going in. There's about a 7-second gap. We'll see what the time loss is.
And as Ree crosses the start-finish line, comes back right behind Hood, and we have a race.
Okay. Yeah,
So that's 7.5 seconds in those pits.
Yep.
So Lewis is the only driver on intermediates. Everyone else is on softs, hoping to get to the finish line on those tires. And if the weather does not go into the rain, this might be the final set of tires, as some drivers have an absolute nightmare of a race with 7 pits. But Ree using turbo to close the gap to Hood. This is going to be a 2-person battle for the win. Is Hood going to get his second win? Is Ree going to get his second place in a row? Or is Ree going to is Victory going to get victory? I have to think about that one. Also, with 2 laps to go, the fastest lap at the moment is belongs to De La Torre. De La Torre running in 6th.
I assume someone here at the end on these fresh stops is going to pass that. Looks like Reed just did a 32.4 on his previous lap. I think with the amount of boost they have saved up, I could see one of them possibly fighting for that. As we see Reed storm past
without any boost, though.
Pierre Hood without using the boost.
Who does use some boost there, but is unable to get past Ree, who is stuck behind Carpentier, passes him right before the castle section. Hood is still stuck behind, but gets past. And as we get down the last little bit of the city, down the last major corner, and now it's a straight line to the finish.
And we have a drag race to the finish.
Ree,
Carpentier pitting.
Couple car lengths, and Ree will take the win.
Because it is going to rain, but there's only 1 lap left, so he's got to finish on wets.
And Raikkonen holding off a charging Paul Hood. Really strong performance by Aston Martin today, and McLaren, who gets some solid points. 2 McLarens in the top 5, 2 Aston Martins in the top 5, but victory goes to Victor Ree.
Strategy hitting the truck. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, I saw someone drive through the stands, yeah. But some interesting driving here at the end with people on softs while it's wet. Burkhardt almost going sideways there. We see Ree and Pierre Hood pitting after they have already won the race onto wet tires. I didn't know that was possible. As they decided they want to do their parade laps on the appropriate tires.
All right, so in looking at the results here, I will let you guys take this down.
Yeah, I mean, a solid race for victory, taking the victory for Maple Stroop Racing. I don't think we saw Maple Stroop win a race since Italy, actually, when Here's Chicken won. So that is some solid points and gets himself even further out from the bottom of the table. Pierre Hood will take second for Aston Martin, getting himself further up the standings, but I don't think enough to go past Fierce Chicken. Probably will stay in 5th, but closes the gap. Raikkonen 3rd. We haven't seen Raikkonen up front in a while. I mean, yes, 2nd in Hungary, but other than that, a very middling form ever since Spain, which was the 3rd race of the season. Paul Hood, again, solid result after 3rd place in Azerbaijan. In Australia, takes 4th place in Azerbaijan. And Michael Selig will probably get over the 100 points now with that 5th place. The rest of your top 10, De La Torre, Lewis, Bass, Strategy, and Burkhardt. Back half is led by the two Ferraris of Brooks ahead of Hennessy. Probably, not the best results for them, but at the same time, they can afford a bad result here and there with the gap that they have to the rest of the competition. Not the end of the world for Ferrari. 13th is Shuttle. Carvalho 14th, Devil 15th, Carpentier 16th, Chicken 17th, Bobby 18th, A Streak 19th, and Jobin rounds out your top 20.
Obviously, tonight it was, the Ferrari obviously is the team that was most affected by that rain tonight. As it brought the field closer together, obviously they struggled a bit tonight. McLaren's going to eat into that team championship lead, but obviously they had a pretty large gap in itself already. And as Zune said, if there's a team that can afford to have a bad night together, it would have been tonight more than anything else.
What I'd like to point out is currently our bottom 5 in the standings for the F1 in reverse order is Jobin, Strategy, Delatorre, Ree, and Burkhardt. And if we look at the results, 3 of them got points today. So Jobin not getting any points, but Strategy getting a couple points, so gets himself up to 18. Delatorre getting a few more points, so gets even further up. Strategy we talked about, and Victory, as I said, wins the race, is going to jump up the standings and probably be around mid-table now.
Yeah, and again, looking at the driver or the constructors championship, Ferrari has quite a lead, but if you look at the second, third, and fourth place teams, they are McLaren, Maple Stroop, and Aston Martin, which are your top 5 drivers in this race. So a lot of points going into cutting that gap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily the gap to Ferrari, but it's definitely the gap to one another for that second place in the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, what those teams needed.
Yes, absolutely, and I think that's the key word to that is, for as much as I know you are cheering for Ferrari, it is, it's good. It's good league-wise to see some other teams jumping up in there, scoring some points tonight, leading the way. But obviously, I do expect Ferrari to take a step back into the spotlight as we head to the U.S. for our next round on Friday. So in saying that, obviously thank you everybody for stopping by to watch the broadcast tonight. Thank you to both of you for helping with the broadcast as well.
Yeah. As a reminder, we will be in USA on Friday for another exciting race. This time it is a focus track, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
It is.
And unfortunately, I will not be there, but I am sure someone around is going to be able to help out. I
think I can. I'm not 100% sure yet. But if anyone else would like to join, let Wally know, or anyone know. And yeah, we'll have a fun. There are 4 races left in the championship, and we'll see how it all shakes out at the end.
Yeah, we are coming down the stretch now, so anything can really happen. I mean, you're looking at those championship leaders right now, and it might only take 1 or 2 more struggles, and there's a couple drivers that can pop right back up into this race.
Absolutely. But with all this said, we will see you guys on Friday. This has been the SCOR broadcast team with